Hi, I'm Spanish Joe of the St. Louis Union, and thank you for joining us on our very first St. Louis Vintage Baseball show. Cue the fanfare music. Okay, we're not that fancy yet, but that's not going to stop us from giving you every moment of the action of the 2019 season. Now, you see, we here in St. Louis are very proud of the St. Louis Vintage Baseball community, and it wouldn't have been possible without the team leaders in our area. Oh, and look, here's one of them now. It's Matt Scoopslurk, captain of the St. Louis Union.
Spanish Joe.
It's kind of weird seeing you in Street Club.
Well, that's kind of a weird thing to say.
Oh, well, here's a crazy idea. How would you like to be our very first guest?
I don't know what you're talking about, but okay.
You see, we have so much more to offer. We have the Goodwill match, and what players have been doing to get ready for this season, and much, much more. And you know that skip intro button? Yeah, that doesn't work right now. So we'll see you on the other side.
It's the St. Louis Vintage Baseball Show. I'm your announcer, Darby Newcastle. Tonight's guest, Matt Scoopslurk of the St. Louis Union. With our host, Spanish Joe Quick.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our very first show. Hey, and thank you, Darby, for that intro.
You're welcome, Joe. It's great to be here.
Hey, now, can we get a shot of Darby over here? Hey, there we go.
Hey, Joe. How was your winter?
It was pretty good, Darby, but like everybody, I was missing vintage baseball. Now, for those of you who don't live in St. Louis, this is the St. Louis Vintage Baseball Show, dedicated to covering the 2019 season. Now, we wanted to do this to show how we do our vintage baseball. Now, in St. Louis, we had the Perfectos, the Brown Stockings, the Cyclone, and our very own St. Louis Unions. Over the river, we have our pals, St. Charles Explorers, Belleville Stags, and the Alden Giant. And every year we play our friends, the Springfield Long Nine, Murfreesboro Clarks, from Danville, the Vermilion Voles, and the longest running club there is, they're older than my grandmother, the Rock Spring Ground Squirrels. Now, it wouldn't be a St. Louis season if we didn't start without playing the Goodwill match. And to tell us about said Goodwill match, we have the man, the myth, the legend, our very first guest, Matt Scoopslurk, the captain of the St. Louis Unions, who I heard has got a little surprise for us. Please clap. Have a seat. It's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me. Good luck in the show.
Now, tell us a little about this Goodwill match.
It was actually Knapsack on our Union team. He actually came up with the idea of having all the teams get together in March, and roughly about 8 to 10 teams. And we basically play a practice game and have a good time. We have some food after the game, and just an all-star game of different uniforms.
Now, you had the Goodwill match last month. The Stags hosted, and we had our cameras there to give us a little peek. Let's go look at the monitors.
Today's event, typically on St. Pat.
Now, we'd like to thank Rooster for that interview, and now, Scoops, if I can call you that, what type of things do you do to finance your team?
We have dues that usually run about $35 to $50. We also do raffles. We raffle off Cardinal tickets. And we raise roughly about $1,000, and that goes towards uniforms, hats, feeding teams from out of town.
Well, you see, the reason I asked this question is because the Cyclones last season, they hosted a trivia night that was really successful. And to tell us about it, we have Bookworm. The boys are all smiles. No matter the score, everyone's a winner playing vintage baseball.
Hey, what happened to Joe?
Joe wants out to do a special interview with Beans about his umpiring clinic. It's a grand idea. Can you tell me how it came about?
Well, we want things to go a little bit smoother with our umpiring, and there's a lot of rules to learn in 1860s baseball. You can imagine that it's the evolution, so it's something that happened 150 years ago. So a lot of rule changes, and we got together before the Goodwill match to work things out.
Well, let's go to the story. Take it away, Spanish Joe.
Thanks, Darby. We're here at Belleville, Illinois at the Moose Lodge with Belleville Stags' one and only Beans. How's it going, Beans?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing good, too. So what was the workshop you put on today, and what spurred you on to do this?
The workshop I put on today was a umpiring clinic. It was to get everybody to know the rules, anybody that wanted to umpire.
So what were some of the challenges that vintage umpires faced?
Well, vintage umpires didn't have a lot of things going on back then. They didn't have to be in every play, but they back in those days. The rules are quite a bit different, to be honest with you. But if we get people to watch this and understand that this is to try to tell people how the umpiring people, actually handle different situations, it would be a lot easier. I mean, they don't have to have a big knowledge of it, but being able to watch it and then see what's there, that will be the big thing.
A final question, is it umpire or arbitrator?
It is umpire.
Okay.
There was a qualification, a few years back that they said everybody was using the word arbitrator. It's not an arbitrator, it's an umpire. Arbitrators, basically, they were called that back in the early 50s, and then about 57, 58, they turned it to umpires. So,
Well, that's good to know. Glad we got that cleared up. And this has been another interview on the show. Back to you. Hey, Joe. Did a great job. Now, how many games are scheduled this season?
We schedule 40 games this year, and we would usually do 50.
Now, why'd you cut back?
Make the games more meaningful. There was a cluster of every game every week, and this just helps out the flow. And quite honestly, it keeps us healthy.
Now, last year, all the team leaders gathered in St. Louis for the scheduling meeting, hosted by Lightning of the Brown Stockings. And we had them there to tell us all about it.
We hope.
Okay, now, and you're not only here to talk about vintage baseball. I heard you're going to talk about your new album. Is that right?
Yes, it's going to drop this summer, and I really hope that everybody gets a chance and go out and buy it.
Okay, let's get a camera on this. So this is Scoops, the hits of the 80s. Okay, now I'm assuming it's the 1880s, right?
No, 1980s. I like to sing in the car, and I just decided to trade in my 401k to produce this.
Oh, well, I heard you're going to sing for us tonight, but that'll be after this video of the St. Louis Brown Stockings luncheon.
No, I'm ready right now.
Oh, okay, well, I guess if you get in place, we can do that now. Well, you heard it here, folks. This is Matt Scoops Lurk with the hits of the 1980s. Are you ready, Matt?
Strangers to love.
Beneficial for everyone.
Well, it's been our very first show. We'll be back in a month with more VBB St. Louis style. We'd like to thank Rooster, Beans, Bookworm, Lightning, Thunder, and of course Scoops over here. Catch your breath. Oh, and make sure to watch Beans Umpiring Clinic at our website, stlvbb.com. We'll leave you with some scenes of Ed Buffalo Nichols' baseball table game exhibit from this past winter. And to everybody, thanks for watching.